The Lord began to download to me a vision to see thousands of regular young believers moving in to high needs communities around the world. We believe that hundreds of people have come to Christ through this movement. Thousands of people have been impacted by this movement. It's amazing to think how many lives have been changed.
Welcome to Canada's Home for Hope. And you know, Joe, one of the reasons we're so passionate here about providing hope is I think the news we read in the headlines and around the world, sometimes it can be a bit depressing, a bit dark, a bit discouraging. And so, yeah, I think, we really want to make sure to do that. And that's why I was so encouraged to see people praying publicly in Toronto recently.
Yeah, it's awesome. The Toronto Police Service members and faith leaders, they all got together and they were walking in every division in the city on September the 18th, so not too long ago. Including, I think it was the mayor or the chief of police, Miron Demkiv, and politicians, and they all gathered together because they were asking for God's help because gun violence has just been increasing in the city. Youth being arrested involving firearms and offenses and violent crimes in particular. And this is hard to even imagine that the numbers have almost doubled since 2020.
Yeah, particularly around youth. That's where it's really growing, and so it's a big concern. Now, the chief said the challenges we face will not be solved by any one group. And he said it takes all of us coming together in a unique way. It's a call to action for all of us to do everything we can to support our communities and to support our young people to find a different path, one filled with hope and opportunities. I think that's so inspiring, and I love the fact that the chief of police is supporting this prayer walk.
Yeah, and also there were politicians who joined the walk, and as well as our good friend, he's not around here, Toronto Police Chaplain Wendell Gibbs. And it's funny, just not long ago, I was here in Burlington shopping at Fresco, shout out to Fresco, and I just bumped into him and his wife, and they said hi. We had a nice little moment together, so
goodness.
That was kind of cool.
You never know. You could see Joe in the grocery store. Like, really? You do shop sometimes, right?
Dreams come true. He's the pastor of First Toronto Baptist Church, and he's so passionate about the prayer walk and unity, and it's a big part of why these events are happening and they continue to spread.
Yeah, I love his voice, and I so appreciate that. And sometimes prayer is like the last thing we think of doing, right? We think, well, all I can do is pray. Well, that makes no sense at all. Like,
I don't like that term.
Right?
Well, I guess all we can do is pray. All you can do should be the first thing.
Yes, it's so powerful. And, every month for the last 2 decades, actually, Toronto Police have been doing this walk with Division 23. And also Black faith leaders. They've been walking through Etobicoke, which is just outside of Toronto, meeting with community members and engaging them in prayer. So this has been going on for a long time, but it's growing bigger and bigger, and more people are getting involved.
Yeah, and unity is so important because sometimes it's so easy to get siloed into our own communities, not just ethnicity, not just religion, not just, denominational lines, but we can get very siloed and we kind of think we're the only kid in town doing the work. But when you start working together, you realize there's a lot of great people that have a common vision. So I think it's very important for these things to have that unity. It really speaks to the community as well.
And there are more chances for you to participate. So on November 4th at 9 a.m., there is a prayer breakfast scheduled at Parkview Manor Banquet Hall in Toronto. The invite includes all faith leaders, local divisions and commands. So, if that's you and you want to be part of making a difference in the greater Toronto area, and I'm sure there's more of this happening across Canada as we hear it, we'll bring it to you, but definitely mark down November 4th and be part of it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that's what's happening here in Toronto. But, 100 Huntley Street, we are Canada's home for hope inspiration. So right now, we just want to go up to northern Saskatchewan to see what our partners are doing on the ground there to change the community.
The vast lands of Birch Narrow's Dene Nation offer up more than just beauty. For hundreds of years, they have fed, sustained, and supplied the needs of the people who live here. But climate change, poverty, and the devastating legacy of residential school systems on the community has changed the way people live and access food. Today, most get their food in the one store in town. What's on the shelves is at least twice as expensive as stores in the South. And that's not the only problem.
Imagine you're the last community If you were to go house to house to house and you gave every house a chance to pick what they wanted, and you're the last house on the block, what kind of freshness do you think you're going to get? That's exactly what we deal with here.
Seeing what was going on in her community, Rebecca Sylvester started digging around for solutions by going back to the land.
A lot of our ancestors in Clear Lake, they had potato gardens, they had gardens flourishing. And then we moved over here, there's lots of rocks. But the pandemic happened and we started noticing that, well, we got to grow this ourselves. We started buying the tools, the hoses, the seeds, and okay, let's try this, see if anybody wants to garden. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful to see elders are gardening, children are gardening, where the daycare is gardening.
That's because it's taken a lot of hard work to get to this point. What started in one backyard has now spread to 63 gardens here. And this larger garden belongs to the entire community.
Do you start setting up on the 30th on front?
It's also the fruit of a 6-year relationship with First Peoples Voices Ambassador Bev Hadland, whose job it is to find, equip, and empower Indigenous changemakers like Rebecca.
I believe I found her on Facebook. She was helping out another community. And I asked her, why not us? Like, can you come and see us? And she said, well, I got to be invited. And I said, well, I'll invite you. And then she said, okay, well, I'm coming. And I'll never forget when she came down.
Through Crossroads Cares, thousands of packets of non-GMO seeds were sent, and it's up to the community members to plant and tend them.
Food security needs to become a movement amongst the Indigenous people. And all we can do is we find the ones that have the vision and the work, and they want to do it. They're ready.
I'm Elizabeth Mobley. I'm 78 years old, and this is my garden.
As an elder, Mobley tends to her plot of land every day. She's especially proud of her potatoes. She's also cultivating a new community with other elders at the center, where the work of her hands creates beautiful clothing, moccasins, and blankets.
Well, it's nice to go to the kitchen and the elders, we gather all together and one does something, and then we have to teach each another. If that guy person don't know what to do, we're going to help him.
Sylvester's vision goes beyond gardens. She started a community kitchen where people could gather and share wisdom and resources.
Those long onions at the store, what are they called? They're onions, but they're ready to be cut out back here, you know that?
And ply their many traditional crafts, something they're also passing down to the next generation.
These elders taught me lots. They taught me really lots. Even sitting with the elders, they just make you laugh. I love hanging around with the elders, I love sitting with the elders. They just teach you everything.
And Stephanie Mobley is teaching them some new things too, like how to cook the food they grow. She also offers baking classes for kids. As a single mom, the kitchen, she says, is a lifeline for her too.
Having our garden here now, it'll be a little ease on some people, especially the single moms, single parents. It'll be a little ease on them. They can just come here and say if they need a couple of potatoes, they can pull them out and go home and cook. If they need onions, they can go there and pull out an onion and go home and cook. It's cheaper on them to have this garden than to actually go to the store to buy the produce there.
And it's not just the vegetables that are growing. This center is helping families stay together. It's also planted seeds of faith in the community.
Just thank Rebecca, and I just pray that you give her strength. She's got so much on her plate right now. Get everything out to the people.
What I'm seeing is it's the Indigenous reaching out to the Indigenous, and there's hope. And for many of them, there has never been hope. They've always afraid they're going to lose the good thing that comes into their life. Oh, it's here for a short season, and then it'll be gone.
Rebecca says there's so much more to do.
I hate to keep this treasure just for ourselves. I want to share it out there. Keep it coming because we don't want to stop. We love everything that you guys do to help us.
Changing the landscape and lives of Canada's First Peoples.
You know, there were so many things that stood out in that story. And the one thing that really I loved was just the joy that people had. You look at their faces and they were so proud that this came from the ground. She goes, you want a potato? Just come pick a potato and go home and cook it. Like, I love the dignity that it gives the people in the community.
Yeah, you know, it's, Indigenous people are so joy-filled and they're funny.
Yeah.
Funny. I love what, Stephanie said, like how she learns from the elders, how they laugh together, how much fun they have. And, this year we had a really successful year. There was fires, there was smoke. Yeah. You saw that in Saskatchewan. They even had a drought. But they were learning about how to climate protect these this year a lot, these vegetables. And even the kids were involved. They were harvesting all kinds of fresh produce, so things like tomatoes, potatoes, carrots. And the kids were so excited, and families are doing it together. So it's actually like this whole way to bring the family together.
Yeah, I mean, and I understand that the outreach is growing, no pun intended, because it's about vegetables. I'm so sorry. I'm not. That was funny. But seriously, things are growing. And there was a 25% increase in community media.
Yes, and community members participating.
Community members participating.
He's losing it. Actually,
yeah,
and it's when they see other people being able to be successful at it, and the word starts spreading, more people want to get involved, and our partner's just going to keep growing that. So it's really excited.
Yeah, now this really matters because, of the high cost of food that we're all experiencing, but especially in those regions of the country.
I know people watching have started their own gardens. Many people have, just trying to help with the cost of food right now. It's crazy. But imagine, what Rebecca said, you're at the end of the highway, northern Saskatchewan. Everybody else gets their pick first, and then you're paying way more for it. So it's this wilted produce. And I've seen this myself. And you're paying high prices for it because they had to pay for the transportation to get it to you.
Yeah.
And it makes it challenging, not just for people to eat, but to eat healthy, because we all know what is the cheapest food at the grocery store? Terrible food. So it's really having an impact on their health and on their budget.
Yeah. Well, she said there at the end of the report, we love and we're thankful for everything that you're doing to help us. And you guys are the ones who get to hear those thanks because you're there. But it's because of you guys, because of the viewers. You guys are the ones who are sending in support. I mean, you're doing more than just praying. You're actually giving. And you've got to understand that every dollar you give, it makes a big difference in these communities. So please, would you help us out today? Go to crossroads.ca/FPV or call 1-800-265-3100 and make the best gift that you can do today. I promise you, you're making a difference. You're changing lives. And in this case, you're changing the community.
Yeah, we say that we're the hands and feet of Jesus, but you're the hands and feet too in that community, and we just get to execute it. So thank you so much for all you do. We're going to be back with more 100 Huntley Street.
Feeling overwhelmed by money stress and shame? You're not alone. Too many of us carry the quiet burden of debt, anxiety, and fear around finances. But there's hope, and you don't have to walk this road alone. Join us Saturday, November 22nd for Moving Forward in Faith and Finances, presented by Crossroads and Christians Against Poverty. A free event with encouragement, practical tools, and spiritual support. Go to crossroads.ca/faith and finances. Your journey forward begins here.
This month, as our thanks for your ministry support of Crossroads and 100 Huntley Street, we're excited to offer the book A Minute of Hope, 100 Intentional Prayers for Times of Challenge and Change by best-selling author Christina Baker.
My prayer for you is that when you take that minute to just breathe, look at the Lord, and begin to pray, you'll go off into a time with God that is very personal and intimate and beyond what is even on the page.
These prayers meet you in life's trials when you need peace, wisdom, forgiveness, or strength to keep going.
Take a moment to look at the Lord and pray and encounter His presence, because the scriptures tell us that when we wait upon the Lord, that He'll renew our strength.
With a gift of $30 or more, or when you become a new monthly partner, request your copy. Call 1-800-265-3100 or visit crossroads.ca/minute.
And we'd love to invest in your spiritual life with resources like these. And you know, when you invest back in this ministry, you help things like our work with Indigenous communities across Canada, but you also help keep 100 Huntley Street on the air every day. Right. And I honestly, every year I think this to myself, Canada needs it more than ever. And every year I think again, Canada needs it even more than ever. You know, what we're seeing happening in the world, people need hope. And you are part of bringing that, even with our prayer lines 24/7. People can call and get hope no matter what they're facing. You can call and get hope no matter what you're facing. So please invest in this ministry. We are so thankful for you. 1-800-265-3100, crossroads.ca/minute, and make sure to request your copy of A Minute of Hope.
That's right. And we're not done bringing you hope just yet. We have some more hope and inspiration. We want to show you the beautiful things that people are doing to change the world. You know, it's like you said at the top of the show. Sometimes the headlines, they rarely tell you what's going on, the good stuff. So right now we want to share this encouraging and powerful report with you.
Hello.
So how was your work day?
It's good. How was your day?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I love the weather.
It's very nice weather.
So I know most of the people in this building. And then a spattering of the other ones. Pretty high turnover community. Yeah. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Are you selling a bit more coffee? Yeah, when I first walked into this neighborhood, I knew it was where God wanted me to live. Just so clear, these 4 buildings, about 4,000 people live here, about 1,000 people per building. And yeah, this has been home for 16 years. Good to see you guys. Did you go to the special school today?
Yeah.
How's your day going?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Where are you coming from work? Or?
Yeah, I'm coming from work.
So 16 years ago in 2009, I'd just come back from a year of travel as the traveling assistant to the founder of a large mission agency. In that year, I went to 6 continents, 20 countries, and 300 meetings in 1 year. And it gave me an incredible view of the world and of the church. And when I came back to Toronto, I moved into an unreached urban poor community. And the Lord began to download to me a vision to see thousands of regular young believers moving in to high needs communities around the world. And then one day I thought, let me put some people in a room and share this vision with them, maybe 30 or 40 people, and 600 people came to that event, which was the launch event of this movement. It's a challenge to young people to consider moving into a neighborhood that they might not otherwise have moved into, a neighborhood with unique needs, with people who may have never encountered the gospel, the good news of Jesus, to move in intentionally into that community and with a team of other people, regular people, and pray weekly with them for an evening or so, and then out of that to serve and be the hands and feet of Christ and to be used by God in the community. So we're focused on 3 groups of people in the world: the unreached, those who live in cities, urban people, and the poor. And there are about 2.5 billion people who are still unreached, who haven't heard the good news of Jesus from the lips of somebody who loves Jesus. There are 400 MoveInners in the world. We're on 81 teams, 53 cities, 14 countries, and MoveInners are the shoulder to cry on for many people in these communities. We estimate that we know 20,000 people by name in the communities that we live in around the world. I've been here for 16 years on this floor. I was single and actually lived in the apartment across the hall for 2 years, and then got married 14 years ago, moved into this apartment with my lovely wife Jessie, and we've since had 2 boys, a 7-year-old Courage and 5-year-old Christian, and this is all they've ever known.
Nice to see you.
Yeah. Hi, Christian. Do you want to be on TV? Yeah. I often think of the boy with the loaves and the fish who gave them to Jesus, and he multiplied them to feed a crowd. And that's how I feel about ourselves and about MoveInners, that we give what little we have to God and he multiplies it to change lives. It's surreal to think of how many lives have been changed. We believe that hundreds of people have come to Christ through this movement. Thousands of people have been impacted by this movement. It's amazing to think how many lives have been changed. Hey, Sajjad.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. My name is Mohammed Sajjad Mohammadi. I'm in my last year of high school, and I live in Scarborough. So I was born in Iran, Tehran, the capital city of Iran, and I wasn't allowed to have a birth certificate because my dad was from Afghanistan and my mom was Persian. So my mom and dad decided for my future and my sake to flee from the country. We came to Canada when I was 3.5. We lived in this building for the beginning of our time in Canada, and when I went to with my mom to the laundry room, we actually met a MoveInner. His name is Farzan Mohajir, and he's from Iran as well, and he could speak with my mom because her English was pretty weak at the time. And he mentioned the Bible meetings that MoveIn holds every other Sunday. And so we started attending those Bible meetings, and that's when my mom got baptized and my dad also got baptized. My faith journey is a bit of a different one because I didn't really believe in God. If anyone asked me, I would just say Christian for the sake of saying I'm Christian. The main reason I really called myself or considered myself Christian was because my mom was strong in her faith. I saw my mom's hard work, working for my future and actually borderline injuring herself just for me to have a future and to be successful. So God really reached out to me in this moment of weakness where I was really kind of failing myself and failing my own mother's expectations. And he really reached out to me at a vulnerable time. And that's when I decided to kind of pick things up and, move on, pick up my cross. And I got baptized in August 2023.
So are you excited for your plans after graduating from high school?
Of course. I can't wait for my missions trip. MoveIn is my family. I consider them family because I've known them since I was very young and they treated me very well. They've cared for me, they've loved for me. Yeah, I just learned how to love your neighbors, love your enemies, love everyone. And yeah, just let people see Jesus through you.
My name is Olivia. I am a student or past student at Oakhead University, and I live in Crescent Town, which is a neighborhood at Victoria Park in Danforth in East York. So I grew up in a Christian home, Christian family. We attended VBS, my mom sang in choir, and slowly as time went on, they stepped away from faith, so we as a family stepped away from faith. But my grandparents are strong Christian believers, and so a couple years ago I moved to Canada and I moved in with them, and just their unconditional love, their presence, and yeah, the time with them really changed me. My grandpa's a retired pastor, and so I could ask him honest questions. We could go to the Word, we could study, and he wasn't afraid of what I asked him. And so through that experience, I really wanted to give my life to Jesus again. So I was rebaptized by him when I was 18, and yeah, it was a really powerful experience. I grew up in a family that struggled. We didn't have the best relationships with one another, but through Jesus there was reconciliation that came. I had a new desire to love my mom and to love my brothers in different ways. I became involved with MoveIn because I had a family friend who was part of my grandparents' church, and they hired me to come work with them, a small business but Christian family. And her sister was a move-inner at a patch in downtown Toronto. And so I knew I was moving to Toronto for school. I wanted to live with Christian roommates and people who were following the Lord. And so this gave me an opportunity to grow in my faith, but also to be surrounded by people who loved God. And so it seemed a good fit. So right away, once I moved into Crescent Town, there's tons of kids here, tons of families, and so immediately that was one of our focuses. One of the first things we did when I moved here was a Christmas party. And so being that I love stories, I'm a creative writing student, I got to help write the story and then act it out for the kids. It was a really fond memory for me because it was something I'd never done before. There are different challenges that come. I referenced one earlier, but spiritual warfare, the feeling of like what I'm doing is wrong or maybe this isn't okay. And then there are just some of the challenges of you really do want your neighbors to come to know God and you want them to have a personal relationship with Jesus. And so just the challenge of waiting and of being accepting where they are. But I think more than anything, the challenge for me was submitting to God's will in my life, that if He would ask me to come, to be obedient to that. And sometimes that is the scariest thing. You wonder, is this worth it? Is there something better? And every day I just, even looking outside, it's such a beautiful place. It's almost a hidden treasure. And so it really feels more like a privilege than anything to get to be here in that way and to pray for our neighbors.
Amazing.
I was so in awe of these people who have committed themselves to just foster community in such a real, beautiful way. And, you know, I think about so many times, like, God doesn't really step into circumstances until you open that door. So whether that's like just praying for people that you see on the bus or in a restaurant or wherever, even if it's just inside, where you're just asking God to move in their life, like just opening that door, having those conversations, being present, caring for people. Like if we don't step out of our comfort zones, like nothing's going to happen.
Well, that's the secret right there, is stepping out of the comfort zone. And I've been talking with someone recently who's looking at making a transition in their work, and they're wondering what to do. And it's in a Christian environment. And so we had this conversation, and something really cool came out of that, was that obedience precedes clarity. Sometimes we want the answer, we want to know everything, we want the list before we step out and do something for God. But the truth is, like you said, just obey first. And sometimes God shines just enough light for you to take the next step, and then take the next step, and then take the next step. Because if you see the whole picture, you might get a little overwhelmed and scared sometimes. So you know what? Take that step today. Like you said, find someone in your community, on your bus route. Maybe you're grabbing a taxi or an Uber to work. Ask the guy or girl how their day is going. You have no idea where that conversation may lead.
Yeah, I was telling you about some people that were doing construction next to where I live, and had them over for lunch and was asking them about their life. And one guy's a Christian. He was trying to get this other guy to go to church. Yeah. And he wasn't interested. But we had this great conversation about faith and about learning about him and just the welcome that happened. He went to church the next day. I was like, that has encouraged me. I've lived off the encouragement of that. Like, I'm just like, the impact of hospitality, like we saw in MoveIn Global, can make a huge difference. So who can you text? Who can you call? Who can you pray for? Who can you invite over today?
That's right. Get out of your comfort zone. Let's get out there.
Love it.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you for your ongoing support of Crossroads, a supporter-funded nonprofit organization and member of the Canadian Centre for Christian Charities. Thanks to faithful people like you, we are able to continue producing 100 Huntley Street. You can write to Crossroads, P.O. Box 5100, Burlington, Ontario, L7R4M2, or visit crossroads.ca to learn more about our programs.